This is the Weber County Commission meeting dated today, March 15th at 10 a.m. We welcome you all here. I have to excuse that clock on the back wall. It says 9, so it's a little behind. We welcome you here. Our Pledge of Allegiance today will be offered by Mrs. Stacy Skeen. Invocation will be given by Mrs. Shelley Hallisey. And the thought of the day by Commissioner Gage Four. So we'll go to that point. Stacy?
Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our dear, kind, gracious Father in heaven, we're so thankful for the opportunity we have to meet today in this Weber County Commission meeting. We're thankful for our leadership in the county and that they lead us in the way that is in the best interest of county citizens. We're thankful for the weather we have, Father in heaven. We would like to bless the people in Ukraine and all the people in the world that are suffering. Thank you for all of our blessings. We say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Commissioner Four?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I'm sure that a lot of people have thoughts on with the world scene that we're in this time of our lives, but I choose to take a more optimistic approach with a coming up event this Thursday we call St. Patrick's Day, March 17th. March 17th, St. Patrick's Day obviously was celebrated for the patron saint of Ireland, St. Patrick, and it was always been a special day for me personally because that was the birthday of my mother. Her last name was McCarty. So obviously she comes from Irish stock. Actually, our family, my grandfather on my mother's side came from the original city of Cork. I actually had the opportunity to visit Cork a number of years ago. And by the way, I did play a little golf over there. And it's a beautiful country, beautiful people. And it's a celebration that people participate here in Utah, probably more outside the state. If you go to the West Coast and East Coast, there's parades and other functions. But it's a great holiday. I think it brings back the feeling of camaraderie that we have seen exist in Ireland over the past. If you take a look at their flag, you probably may not know this, is that it's basically 3 colors, the green, white, and orange. The green represents the Catholics in Ireland.
May I ask who's
Orange
calling?
represents the Protestants. And the white basically is the conciliation that says we're going to work together to make this a better country. So that's my thought, Mr. Chair. And I would say that those that celebrate St. Patrick's Day, be careful out there, be cautious, celebrate it. It's also known to be a holiday where people that do imbibe drink a little much. I'd say be careful. Definitely don't drink and drive. Be cautious of your activities.
Thank you, Commissioner Four. That's a wonderful thought. You know, in 1972, I was in the service, and I was in Fort Lee, Virginia, and we took a trip to New York City. And so I was in New York City, and there was about 4 or 5 of us, I don't remember how many, in our uniforms, and we were in our Class A's, our dressed up, and we were walking down the street, and we come to this intersection, and my gosh, there was the St. Patrick's Day parade right in front of us in New York. And,
It's a big one, too.
yeah, it was huge. And these girls were walking along in the parade. They seen us as soldiers standing there, and they hustled over and grabbed us and put us into the parade. And we walked along with them for a couple of blocks, and all of a sudden, there we were at the St. Patrick's Cathedral. And that was really quite a deal. And so I always remember that when it comes to St. Patrick's Day.
Good people over there.
Yeah, good people. Thank
Become
you.
your best friends really quick.
We appreciate that. All right. Consent items. We'll start out with approval of warrants. First one is request to approve warrants 5176 to 5210 and number 466253 to 466216 and number 158 to 159 in the amount of $906,638. Second is request for approval of warrants 5211 to 5242 and 466 to 417, 466, 417 to 466, 564, and number 160 to 162 in the amount of $1,626,127. Item 3 is approval to ratify purchase orders, I should say, in the amount of $190,546. Item 4 is approval for purchase orders in the amount of $146,648. Item 5 is a request for approval of ACH payments to U.S. Bank in the amount of $192,960. Item 6 is the approval of minutes for the meeting held on March 1st. Item 7 is a request for approval of new beer licenses. Item 8 is a request for approval of new business licenses. Item 9 is a request for approval of the following Weber County policies. 2-100, approving expenditures. 2-200 on cash receipts. 2-300, adopting budgets. 2-500, capital projects. 2-600, contracts. 2-700, capital assets. 2-800, fund balances. 2-900, bank accounts. 2-1000, interdepartmental charges. 2-1100, pardon?
Recipient.
Boy, I tell you, that's a tough one for my tongue. The sub-recipient monitoring, 2-1200 petty cash, 2-1300 check cashing, and a fraud hotline policy 8-13. Those are the consent items. Commissioners, do you have any questions?
I don't have questions. Sometimes I haven't had a chance to go over in detail all of the policies. There we go. That's much better, I think, in the microphone.
Do you want to pull any of those off, Commissioner Harvey?
I'd like to hear a little more on the, I think 2-100. I'd like to look at, was that the one, Marty? 2-500, that's it.
Yeah, we went over this morning.
Yeah, I'd like to at least get a little more explanation from our clerk auditors on that, maybe in a work session, just a brief one, or in our offices. But if we could do the others except for the 2-500, I'd like that.
Okay.
So consent item 9, then 2-500.
Okay. So, Commissioner Faur, any questions?
I'm okay with that. I'll second.
All right.
If that's a motion, I'll
Well,
second.
it's not a motion. I've got to go to Lynn Taylor. Lynn, would you like to go over these?
Yes, thank you. So 2 weeks worth. For the week of March 8th, we had 9 purchase orders totaling $190,000. The largest of these, 72% or $137,000 to dispatch for a logging recorder and scheduled IT equipment replacement, and 11% or $21,000 to the health department for furniture, and 11% or $21,000 to the library for firewall replacement and multifunction printer copier. There were 200 warrants that week for $907,000, 28% or $258,000 for ramp municipal grants, 14% or $127,000 to IT for firewall equipment and software maintenance, and 10% or $91,000 to the jail for policy manual subscription fees, utilities, food, and vests. For the week of March 15th, 21 purchase orders totaling $146,000. Largest of these, 40% or $58,000 to the library for RFID tags, janitorial supplies, HVAC maintenance, and gloves. 14% or $20,000 to the sheriff's office for search and rescue snowmobile replacement and jackets. 12% or $18,000 to property management for a 20-foot tilt deck trailer. And 12% or $17,000 to dispatch for logging recorder software. And finally, 183 warrants for $1.6 million. Largest of these, 60% or $980,000 for employee and retiree health and dental insurance. 12% or $195,000 to the health department for construction on the annex second floor.
Very good, Commissioners. You see some of this equipment out there at the Sheriff's Department, search and rescue, but it's in their budget, so.
Yeah, I've looked at that and looks
Yeah.
okay.
Well, I'm ready for a motion.
A motion to approve consent items 1 through including 9, with the exception of holding item 2-500 on item number 9.
Second?
Very good. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Stands approved. So we pulled 2-500 off to be put on next week. Okay, Shelley? Very good. Under action items. Action item number 1, request for Weber County Recreations, Arts, Museum, Park Board approval for the 2022 ramp grant recommendations. We've had these sent to us. We've talked about it. I had no reason to want to change any of these. When you look at them, that's a big number. It was, I don't remember, wasn't it around $6 million?
5.988.
5.988.
Close to it.
Wow, that's amazing. Anyway, any comments?
Miss
Oh, yes,
Woodward is
Carla.
here.
You got Carla here.
Is Carla here? Carla, please, stand up here.
Well, thank you for having us here today to talk about RAMP. We did have almost...
Carla, you're chairman of that board,
I
right?
am. I'm the chair of the advisory committee.
Right.
Thank you. So this is my 6th year with RAMP. Came up through the Parks and Rec side and chaired Parks and Recs last year. So final year with RAMP. It's just been an amazing experience. Love everything that we see happen out in the community and the people that we've got to work with on the board as well.
You're to be congratulated for your time and effort there. I just want you to know it. We
Thank you. It's been a
appreciate you
privilege.
very much.
Very much. Thank you.
We watch you because you happen to meet in our offices, and the amount of time and effort you folks put into this is just amazing. And that's in the office. I know you put a fair amount of time in out of the office checking on it.
Yes, yeah, there were a lot of projects this year. So in the majors, we had 7 projects. We had requests totaling like $2.7 million, and our recommendation is $1.996 million. Some notable projects in there, of course, the expansion at Hill Air Force Base. More pickleball courts are coming to Weber County, so people will be excited about that. And you know, the committee really takes the stewardship of the RAMP monies very seriously. So we want to make sure that any of the projects that come or that we recommend funding for really are things that are going to get off the ground and have sufficient planning and participation and support behind them. So we recommended funding for all the majors except for one this year. Went back to that particular group and gave them some pointers on how to make that a stronger project so that the monies will be spent correctly for that. Under Parks and Rec, we had 17 projects totaling $1.265 million, and we recommended funding for all of those. Some of the notable applications, again, more pickleball courts, and there's money in there for funding for trails and parking, and of course improvements to playgrounds and parks. Under Arts and Museums, this committee had 57 projects, and there are 6 people on that board or on that committee that work on these. So I think they had an average of 6 different entities that they went and visited with, so they could have anywhere from 10 to 15 applications that they had to present there. They had projects totaling $2.3 million, and we recommended funding for $1.48 million. Some of the notable things there, you'll see more events, more community concerts, seasonal programming for theater and arts. There were also some public art projects and dance events, so lots of great things happening out there. So after all of these recommendations, RAMP has a surplus of about $700,000. That money is going to be made available to the Easy Grant participants if that's needed, and if not, that money will roll forward into the next RAMP cycle. Easy Grant applications are due on March 25th, and the board meets on April 13th to make those recommendations and review, so we look forward to sharing those results with you.
Great. Commissioners, questions?
Can I just make one little correction? We actually have a surplus of about $300,000 that's going to next year,
Okay,
rather than $700,000 next year.
Thank you.
great.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, hold on. Don't leave yet. Do we have questions?
Comment,
Go
Mr.
ahead.
Chair. So just a point of information, this past week we had a WACOG meeting, and this list was presented at the WACOG, and I made the comment that I don't think there is one city in our county that didn't have some impact in some form or the other with this ramp. So these are funds that I think we can legitimately say are spread throughout the county, and that it would touch just about everybody's personal life or family in some form or fashion. So, and again, I just congratulate the board on their hard work.
Commissioner Harvey?
Mine's a little more personal, if I can take privilege there. I've known Miss Woodward now for
Shh.
a few years.
It's been a minute.
A few years, and she's always been a giver. She's always been a great community support. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Yet again, and another facet of our community, Carla. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Appreciate that. Thank
Thanks,
you.
gentlemen. Okay.
Very good. So I guess I'm looking for a motion to approve this list.
Mr. Chair, I would move to approve the Weber County Recreation Arts Museum and Parks Advisory Board. Wait, is that the right one? Yeah.
No, not
For
the,
the ramp, for approval of the 2022 ramp grant recommendations.
Very good.
yes, I'll second that.
Okay, motion and a second to that. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. That's approved. Thank you. So, you know, it was interesting, we had some people approach us this year thinking maybe it was time to increase things here a little so we could put a few more dollars into ramp. And when we looked at how that program has grown all on its own, just because we're increasing the size in our county and there's more people participating, more sales and everything that drive this, gee, we ended up with, I think, Shelley, didn't you say this year there was almost $6 million that went into that program?
Correct.
Yeah, so it's just big. It's just turned out to be such a wonderful program.
Yeah, good.
That's what I say. All right, item number 2 under the action items is request for approval of resolution of the County Commissioners of Weber County appointing trustees to the board of the West Weber Park District. Mrs. Stacy Skeen.
Good morning, Commissioners. The Western Weber Park District had 3 vacancies to fill at the beginning of the year. We filled 2 of them. I reposted for more applications. I received 1 that you have before you, and so just asking for your approval to appoint Shay Bitten to the Western Weber Park District.
Very good. Commissioners, do you have any comments?
Appreciate Ms. Bitten's willingness to serve, and with that, Mr. Chair, I'll make, if you're ready for a motion, I'll make a motion we approve the name brought before us today for Resolution 15-2022 for the Western Weber Park District.
I'll second that.
Very good. We have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 15-2022. Mr. Brandt.
Okay, roll call vote for Resolution 15-2022. Commissioner Ford?
Aye.
Commissioner Harvey?
Aye.
Chair Jenkins?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very good. 15-2022 passes. That's good. All right, item 3 is a request for approval of a contract by and between Weber County and Maury Tarbox for services as the artistic director to oversee Ogden Musical Theater production for the 2022 season. Mrs. Cassie Bye. Hello,
Thank
Cassie.
you. Good morning.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Well, thank you for giving me this opportunity to present this contract to the commission. We're excited to have Maury Tarbox once again accept being contracted as our artistic director of Ogden Musical Theater. She has been with us since 2017 when Ogden Musical Theater was created, and we do a contract annually and then put her on as a seasonal employee each year. So that's what this contract is for 2022, the renewal of her contract for this year with seasonal employment.
Questions, commissioners?
No questions. Maury is phenomenal.
She's done an amazing job.
She's,
over the years.
I'll say.
I hope you were working for the day she decides not to do it, because I'm not sure what you'll do on that day.
I know.
But that's 40, 50 years from now. so
Oh, yeah,
there
that's
you go.
right. We have a private pact. I'm just kidding.
All right, well, I'm looking for a motion, Commissioner Harvey.
Mr. Chair, I'd absolutely, wholeheartedly like to approve the contract between Weber County and Maury Tarbox for the artistic director to oversee Ogden Musical Theater again.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. No comments? All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. It's
Thank you.
approved. Thank you.
And if I may, I just want to publicly thank RAMP as well, because without the support of RAMP, with Ogden Musical Theater, we wouldn't be able to do what we do with Ogden Musical Theater. So appreciate their support.
Appreciate that. All right, item number 4, request for approval of contract by and between Weber County and Broken Heart Rodeo Company for the 2022 Weber County Fair Rodeo. Mr. Duncan Olson.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Welcome.
This is for the Weber County Fair. Same contract that we've kind of done the last, 20 some odd years. Between us and Broken Heart, they come in, they do pretty much everything for us, so we don't have to worry about it during the fair. Yeah, we're excited. It's coming fast.
Questions, commissioners?
No, the Broken Heart Rodeo, Mr. Gurman and his family do a nice job for us there. He's a great professional outfit. They know the facility. He brings great stock, as good as the PRCA, in my opinion. And we're glad to have him here local. He's a Weber County business, and it goes all over the western United States. It's good to have him do our own local fair. So with that, if you're ready for I'd like the motion that we approve this contract for Broken Heart Rodeo for the 2022 Weber County Fair.
Second.
Very good. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. It's approved. Item 5 is a request for approval by and between Weber County and Utah Holstein Association for the 2022 Weber County Dairy Days. Geez, I struggle with that a little because that used to be the Plain City Dairy Days. I held at the Golden Spike Event
Yep.
Center. Duncan?
It's true. This is another one of those events that, it's just been around for a long time. We've been doing it with them. They were a little worried when we started to do our remodel of the auction arena. They weren't sure if they were going to be able to stick around, but because their event has kind of shrunk down, they'll be able to fit inside of Barn C. And so it's a little bit different than years past, but we want to continue to sponsor this event. It's just been one of those, we're doing a little bit of panel trade and some things as trade for our sponsorship.
Very good. Commissioner Harvey, this is in your portfolio again.
The Dairy Days, there's mainly, Holstein is a new word. It's because there are many cows that give milk. And so this is the parent company now that's taking control of this, is that what
Yeah.
I'm understanding? Appreciate those local people who still have interest. This is a way, Commissioners, that we give back to the people and still support agriculture and livestock, very much so. So this is a great support for our local rural industry, and so just wanted to point that out. With that again, and sorry that a lot of them are centered upon culture, parks, and recreation today, but I'll make a motion that we approve this 2022 Dairy Days, Weber County Dairy Days, to be held at the Golden Spike Event Center with the Utah Holstein. Well, the city's, never mind, I won't.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, so I want to speak to that a little.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. When I was in elementary school, so.
15 years ago.
That'd be a good night. That'd be 1956. Dairy Days was going out there in place.
Yeah.
So this is a pretty old event. I don't know when it got started, but it would be prior to that. And when we'd get out of elementary school for lunch, we'd all hustle across the road to get into the city park so we could walk around, see those cows, just loiter. That's what we did. Anyway, so yeah, this goes back a long ways.
Before you call for that, let me, since this is being recorded, do you remember Lynn Richardson? Lynn Richardson, wonderful man. He was involved with Dairy Days, the chair with that back, I would say in the 40s, maybe even in the 50s, but a long time ago. He told me years ago as a young boy, when he was a young boy and he grew up out there, that he remembers going to the dairy shows, not just in Plain City, but also right over here across the viaduct at the Golden Spike, when they were held at the Golden Spike, and how back there in the, he told me when he was a young boy again, so this would have been in before 1910 or right around 1910, 1912, that he remembers riding one of the wagons, and they would pull a wagon on each side of the river, and they would pull a barge up the river, and that's how they would move the cows from Plain City to the Golden Spike livestock, is use the river and pull a barge up the river all the way up, and then they'd unload those cows there to the show, and then, of course, the other cows would come in by train and rail, right, because we had the big rail yards.
Yeah.
Interesting how they used to use the Weber River as a way to transport cattle from out there in the Plain City.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't either. It's interesting, our dairy industry in the county has shrunk substantially in the last years. So, yeah. Very good, Commissioner. So I have a motion and a second. I'll call it. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Passes. Very good. All right, Duncan, next one is number 6, approval for a contract between Weber County and Spikers Rodeo Team to hold the Spikers High School Rodeo 2022 at the Golden Spike Event Center.
This is one of those ones that's one of my favorites every year. I love being able to watch these high school kids work hard, and you can just see their progression, and then they turn into pros, and it's just a lot of fun. So this is a discount with our school district type rates, as well as this year we've worked in a similar trade that we did with Weber State for them to come in and clean the stalls afterwards, which is going to save us a big old fat chunk of labor, which I love.
That's good. Once again, Commissioner Harvey.
Make a motion, this high school, this Spikers group is a wonderful group, and motion to approve this contract for the 2022 Spikers High School Rodeo.
And I'm happy to second.
Very good. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye?
Aye. It's approved. And last, under action items, is a request for approval of contract between Weber County and the Weber School District to hold the Weber School District Orchestra event at the Golden Spike Arena. Duncan, once again.
Yeah, this
You're a
one's
busy boy today.
yeah. This one's unlike the others. This is something that's new to us. they needed a place to have their orchestra perform, and they're gonna settle into our exhibit hall, and so it'll turn into kind of a concert hall for the night, and it's really just the discounted school district rate.
Very good.
Great.
Great.
Once again.
Yeah, this is, we love our partnership. We do a lot of things with the Weber School District, and we appreciate them very much. And so I'll make a motion that we approve this contract by and between Weber County and Weber School District to hold their orchestra performance.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Thanks, Commissioners.
So Duncan, before you leave,
Yes, sir.
you gotta give us a little bit of report on your rodeo that you held out there this last week, the icebreaker.
Pretty crazy, right?
Boy, I tell you, I drove out there and walked around, and I drove through that park that you've created, with all the trailers in the trailer park.
Right.
I'm just amazed how full it was, and how there wasn't an empty spot to park.
It's true.
These trailers they have, these are big trailers. You know, it used to be everybody pulled up in that little trailer, you could put 2 horses in the back. But nowadays, if you pulled into the 2-horse trailer, everybody'd look at you like, what is he bringing?
And that's history. Isn't it?
Yeah, that is. Boy, there's a lot of dollars put into these rigs now.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see the end economic impact report. We work closely with Lindsay at Visit Ogden, and we usually generate the report to kind of show what kind of impact. One of my employees he ran over to the Chevron over there on 4th North and talked to the lady there, and she said she had sold out of food and sold about $17,000 one day, and she doesn't ever do that. We pride ourselves out there as bringing an economic impact every day. But on an event like that, everybody feels it and sees it. And we had 17, 18 states and Canada that were represented this year. We had a lot of success. The barn manager, the stall manager that we contracted with, she worked out really good. In fact, with that RV park, as soon as somebody was done, if they didn't make the short go, they took out, and she resold the spot. And so we made more money on our RV park than we ever have. Really is successful, and when we get the final numbers, I'll present them to you in a work session or something, so you can see just how awesome it was.
You know, the great thing about this event, Commissioners, is this is an event that was started by our own Weber County folks. It's not an event that can ever leave. We produce the event. So all that hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars of economic impact through all the taxes, the sales taxes that are generated, and that our citizenry enjoy, but the people come in, they spend their money, and then they go home. We don't have to educate their kids, or we just reap the cream off the top, so to speak. It's a wonderful event for tourism, so.
It's true.
That's great.
Yep, exactly right.
That's great. Thanks, Don.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Well, the public hearing has been pulled off the agenda, so we don't have it today. So Commissioners, that puts us down to Commissioner comments.
You're doing a wonderful job as our chair, Mr. Chair.
And I would second that and make,
You know, you can laugh and chortle all you want, but being the chair of this commission doesn't just happen on this meeting on Tuesday morning, but it happens in work sessions and a variety of other meetings that we hold throughout the weeks and weekends and different things, and you're doing a wonderful job. Appreciate your leadership, and really do.
You're very kind of me. Absolutely. I appreciate you too, and want you to know that you're wonderful commissioners. You do great jobs. Wonderful. Well, okay.
motion to adjourn, Mr. Chair.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. We're adjourned. Thanks, everybody, for being here today.